Hey everyone, it's me, Sarah, your Christian forgiveness coach. You're listening to Forgive Everyone for Everything Every Day, Right Away. This is episode number 50, Forgiveness and Other People's Opinions. So I talked a couple episodes about opinions. Um, and today I want to talk about other people's opinions, right? So um, I'll remind you that a lot of times we think, our opinions are we're just stating the facts of the world as we see them, right? So when other people have their opinions, we have to remember that too. They're probably thinking the same thing. Like this is just truth, this is fact. It's just their perception though. It's their thoughts from their brains that they've formed, from how they were raised, their life experiences and they feel very true to them, just like how a lot of our opinions feel very true to us. Okay, so good to know. So, what about when you tell them, or no, when they tell you their opinion and you kind of get upset about it? Maybe you get angry that someone else sees it a different way, or you feel hurt that they think a certain way or they have a certain opinion. So, I have an example for you. I experienced this when I was in Florida with my family. So I grew up in a place called Anna Maria Island back in the 70s and 80s, and it was amazing. Like my backyard was literally the white sugar sand beach and the Gulf of Mexico, like right there. My mom and I lived in this little 1 bedroom beach shack, no air conditioning, right on the Gulf. I remember the cockroaches and the thunderstorms that sounded like boulders crashing down around us. And my grandparents lived just 6 blocks away, and all the kids on the island were friends. And we all went to this little elementary school. And I just ran around barefoot all the time. And I was just brown as a biscuit tan, like 12 months out of the year. I love this island. When I think back on my childhood there, it was magical. And I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful place to grow up. And I moved back there as a young adult, and I visit almost every year. And I've taken my kids back there many, many times. So, in my opinion, this my opinion of this island is, so high that I find myself getting my feelings hurt when other people, especially my loved ones or family, don't think as highly of it as I do, as if they're dissing me if they don't like anything about the island. Isn't that funny? How I take their opinions personally. Like I really had to do some work around this because I was so bummed that their opinion wasn't the same as mine. So here's what I realized. One of the reasons that it bothered me is that I realized that they were kind of right. It's not like the most amazing place in the world. I just think it is because I grew up there and I have so many great memories and it just holds such a very special place in my heart. But I also realized I had this expectation that they should know that and then act accordingly. Humor me, right? No complaining, no negative comments. They should have understood how special this place was to me, right? So now there are many times when, you decide you really want to argue your point. If someone is about to make what you think is a really bad decision, maybe even a life or death decision, by all means, speak your mind, but we don't have to be mad about it, right? We don't have to be mad at the other person. We can speak our minds, try to talk someone out of something without being a jerk, without shaming them, and without sacrificing the relationship or the connection. And this goes for how you talk to yourself as well. I often ask myself, like, do I want to be right or do I want to be in relationship? So one example of this might be, let's say you and your partner are talking about your first date like a year ago and you have it on your calendar like from back then. So for a fact it was on a Tuesday. They don't have it on their calendar, but they're insisting, no, it was a Wednesday. You remember the food at the restaurant. It was amazing. You remember, and they remember it as not being amazing. They didn't enjoy their dish. Do you want to argue about this? Do you want to be right or do you want to be in relationship? Okay. So I think a really good example of this, let's say you have a young adult child in their early 20s. Let's say you raised them to, maybe not have sex before marriage, and then they do. And you maybe have much opinion about this, you have much to say about this, but do you want to approach it in a way that shames them and maybe pushes them away? Or do you want to do it in a way that nurtures the relationship while still instilling your opinions about, your values? So, can you do that without being tied to the outcome, without trying to control the other person? Can you have your opinion, let them have theirs, even if you think it's wrong, and still love them exactly the same as if they did everything how you wanted them to? So, I mean, this isn't what we would want from or isn't it? This is, if you think about it, if you imagine it, this is what we would want from a loved one towards us, right? Wouldn't we want them to let us have our opinions, live our lives, make our own mistakes, and be loved through them no matter what? So, I want to say with you two things to leave with you to try out when other people's opinions bother you or upset you. Number one is this: you can just let them be wrong. I just needed to let my family be wrong about my island. It's fine. They did not have to have the same opinion as me. Um, and you could also just let somebody be wrong about the date of your first date. Let them think it was a Wednesday. It's fine. Let them be wrong about the food, let them be wrong about you and your choices in your life. It's fine. No need to defend, no need to convince. And then there's this one. And this one I love. I got this one from one of my coaches when it comes to wanting to argue or prove my point. Just say, you know, that may be true. And then let it go. Whatever they said that went against what you think or believe or even know to be true, just try this out the next time you feel like you need to argue. Just try saying, like, that might be true. And just see how you feel. See if it gives you any relief. See if it takes away that need to be right. And see if it just helps you forgive and bless and put the relationship first. Till next time. Bye.